Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to another episode of Becoming a Wild Rift Expert. And today I have an amazing game between Nigma Galaxy and FENNEL. So one thing immediately, Kassadin gets first picked by Nigma Galaxy, but FENNEL completely countered it out. So FENNEL was already ahead by one game. It's 1-0 between Nigma Galaxy and FENNEL, but what is the reason that I'm saying that Kassadin got completely countered out by FENNEL? Because, we know Kassadin is a very strong champion. Like right now in the current meta, Kassadin is incredibly powerful and is kind of a pick or ban champion. But FENNEL left him open, and if you actually look at the champions they picked against it, I get it. Renekton, well, let me first explain why. Kassadin works very, very well into squishies, but Kassadin doesn't work well into bruisers that can't get one-shot. Like, those are the hard counters of Kassadin. Because in the late game, if you jump on one of those bruisers, you're just gonna get CC'd and gonna get killed. So if you look at the composition of FENNEL, Renekton, bruiser that can destroy Kassadin and doesn't get one shot. Xin Zhao, another bruiser that does exactly the same. Garen, another bruiser that does the same. And then Karma is a champion that does get kinda countered by Kassadin. The reason that I'm saying kinda is because even Karma has a massive shield, which does work pretty well into Kassadin. And then also Galio, who is probably the biggest counter champion against Kassadin. Like, Galio counters those magic assassins. So, if you look at Kassadin, if you look at Chammy, he should have a rough time this game, because it should never, ever work against that type of composition. It's like literally the worst composition to pick Kassadin into, but it was a first pick Kassadin. That's why they got into a situation like this. Another thing that I want to talk about is all these control wards. There's so many pink wards on both these teams, like especially on Nigma's side. There's 5 control wards, so it seems like these teams are loving the controllers. Nigma Galaxy saw this rotation coming. They did their homework, you can see that. FENNEL tried to gank Chammy because he's playing Kassadin. Kassadin can get ganked very easily, and Draw is going in like crazy. So the idea was good. I get the idea, because everyone was rotated. There's 4 people from Nigma Galaxy. You can go in, you think, but you can't. Why? Because you have a Kassadin, who's useless early game. You have a Wukong before level 5, who's not necessarily useless, but you don't want to fight with a Wukong before level 5. Like, if you look at this replay, what are they gonna do? What is Nigma Galaxy gonna do? When you're up against a Renekton and a Xin Zhao, these 2 champions are incredibly powerful in the early game, because they don't need their ultimates to do a lot of damage, so you can't fight that. But right here, another rotation from Nigma Galaxy, and I like it. I like how Nigma Galaxy is playing, because they hit Domang very hard, and they put Domang down, who's the Xin Zhao, to like 20% HP, which allows them to secure this Rift Scuttler. Because if we actually look at which composition should win the late game, it's definitely, I wouldn't necessarily say definitely, but Nigma Galaxy. The reason that I'm not saying definitely is because even though Kassadin is a very, very strong late game champion, you are up against all those counters. So I would say Nigma Galaxy wins the late game. But not definitely. No, not definitely. But yeah, very, very nicely played by Nigma Galaxy. Even though they gave away that kill on the top lane, it's okay, because they're just kind of surviving the early game. And, oh, interesting. So after everyone got a control ward from Nigma Galaxy, most of them went back and got normal wards now. But the vision game is even. Both teams have a lot of vision, but it seems like FENNEL is really trying to prioritize this Kassadin. And that's the thing with Kassadin, right? Like, if you play Kassadin in a Baron lane, you are gonna get ganked, and you can't really do anything about it. Like, you're either gonna die or you're gonna lose a lot of turret plates. I wanna say though, Chammy is doing a phenomenal job surviving this, because even though he didn't have vision, he actually still saw it coming. So like, just the game knowledge of Chammy is amazing, because he's able to survive the early game. Because like, especially when you're up against a Xin Zhao, like I've played a lot of lanes against Kassadin in the Baron lane. Every single game I got the Kassadin to like a 0-4 score before the first dragon. And the reason is because Kassadin cannot defend against the gank, especially before level 5. Kassadin literally cannot do anything. He has no CC, nothing. He only has that stupid silence, but it doesn't do anything early game. So that is why FENNEL is kind of desperately trying to gank Kassadin, because they can, but they're not doing it regardless, because Chammy just knows. He knows every time. He's playing very defensively when he has to, and sure, he's losing turret plates, but he's able to stay alive in his lane and not get too far behind, because he's actually only 800 gold behind, which is normally quite a lot. Again, they go for him again, but he uses his ultimate to survive. I don't like him going back to his turret though. Ooh, they could just dive him and kill him. It seems like FENNEL is more interested in the turret than Chammy, but yet again, Nigma Galaxy just they're always here for their team. They're always here, and they got Kassadin the kill. That is amazing. Nigma Galaxy, like, FENNEL is doing good rotations. They're applying so much pressure on the Baron lane. But then if you look at Nigma Galaxy, they're countering it so well. It's so nice to see how these teams are just countering out and doing the exact thing that they have to do. Like, them being there for Kassadin is so important, because if they're not there for Kassadin, he's gonna lose a turret and he's gonna die. Like, he would have definitely died at least 2 times this game if Draw, especially, who is the Rakan, didn't rotate to him. So just very, very well played. And now I get the composition of Nigma Galaxy, right? They picked the Varus, who is, you know, he was one of the only champions that can very easily survive on his own in the Dragon lane. Because he has the poke, he has the range, he can just stay under his turret and farm. So that Draw on the Rakan can roam around all the time. Just the comp makes sense now from Nigma Galaxy. This allows them to put Kassadin in the Baron lane because they're always there for him. However, now that I'm talking about it still, his turret is very low and he is still up against the Renekton. And even a Renekton by himself can pretty much turret dive a Kassadin and, well, not one shot, but kill him. So he still has to be very, very careful about that. So, let's see. There's a Rift Herald and a Dragon. What are these teams gonna do? I would definitely say that FENNEL has to take the fight. You don't really want to be giving away an Infernal Dragon to this composition, especially because they have a Kassadin. So let's see what happens. Galio has an ultimate and there he goes! Boom! A fight very, very easily won by FENNEL right here. This is it. This is that early game power that FENNEL has right now. However, now that I'm talking, you know, sure, they won the fight. Did they even win the fight? They won the fight, but Calm on the Renekton is just staying calm in the Baron lane and taking that turret. Honestly, I don't think this is the play. Even though Calm is getting very ahead right now, if he had rotated to his team, they were going to be able to get the Dragon. So the question is the personal lead for Calm on the Renekton worth them not getting the Infernal Dragon? So now they're going for the Infernal Dragon, which also makes sense. Like, they got the turret and they're going for the Infernal Dragon. I would still say it's a bit risky because now it's going to be a full-on 5 versus 5. But FENNEL should still be on the upper hand here because they do have the stronger composition right now. Oh, and it's a beautiful engage by Horizon. Beautiful, beautiful engage. But what is even happening? Like, FENNEL was not taking any damage in this team fight. Look at that. Like, throughout the whole team fight, only Garen took a little bit of damage. And sure, Galio got to a low amount of HP, but they're just not taking any damage from Nigma Galaxy right now. And on the opposite side, Nigma Galaxy is very low. So Horizon went back just to heal up. And this is going to be a rough one for Nigma Galaxy because FENNEL went back. Oh, and it's a Wukong ultimate. And they're going all in. And wow, that is a lot of damage. And that's Chammy yet again on the Kassadin, securing a kill on the backline. This is horrible for FENNEL. They're losing against the composition that wins in the late game. All of Nigma Galaxy is low. Every single champion, but only one has fallen. Draw is the only one that fell. But this is what I mean. Like, this is the risk you take when you allow Calm on the Renekton to take a turret instead of him rotating to your team and securing that objective. Like, that's the risk you're taking. And now FENNEL is getting hurt by that risk. Oh my god, guys. Look at the builds of FENNEL. There's 3 stone plates. What is happening? Galio, Renekton, and Xin Zhao have a stone plate. And then if you look at Garen, he doesn't really need a stone plate. His second ability is already like an integrated stone plate. He went for a redemption. This is probably the tankiest composition that I've ever seen in my life in Wild Rift. Like, no, not even joking. 3 stone plates and all of these tanks. I honestly still don't get how Chammy on the Kassadin is supposed to do anything in this game, to be honest. These teams are wandering around this dragon for a long time. Like, dragons are very, very important. But, you know, the Rift Herald is also up. I would have loved to see one of these teams actually do the Rift Herald instead. Because this is just, yeah, kind of a waste of time, like, for both these teams, to be honest. Like, look at this. No one is taking damage from FENNEL right now, even though so much is hitting. This is crazy. This is crazy. FENNEL is not taking any damage. They're so unbelievably tanky, and now they should be able to secure this dragon because Yushi died on the Wukong. They should focus the dragon. Like, get the dragon. Just get the dragon and it's okay. There they go. So FENNEL just secured the dragon and now they have to go out. This is okay for FENNEL. Only one of them died and they won this fight. Like, FENNEL did a very, very good job. But Nigma is gonna take the mid lane turret fight here. That, you know, it's at least something. But still, like, I would have loved to see Nigma actually go for the Rift Herald to get that early game lead. Like, they didn't even get the mid lane turret yet. So Nigma Galaxy is really trying to force things in the early game with a later game composition. Although now that I'm talking about it, Kassadin is sitting on a 3-0 score, which is huge for Nigma Galaxy. Huge. Because right now, he can kind of hold his ground in 1v1s now, right? Like when you reach level 9, you're gonna get your ultimate to level 2, which really reduces the cooldown of it a lot. And he got 2 items already. These are the 2 core items of Kassadin, which is the Rod of Ages and the Archangel Staff. Yeah, Archangel Staff. That's what it is. So you build it into the Seraph's Embrace, which gives him a shield and a lot of ability power. Combined with the Rod of Ages, like if they get the Kassadin into the late game without really losing out too much, should be really, really good for Nigma Galaxy. And here they get the Rift Herald, which should mean a mid lane turret for Nigma Galaxy. And while I'm talking, Calm picks up another turret in the bot lane. So FENNEL was doing a good job to trade on the opposite sides of the map. We saw this happen a lot by the Chinese teams during the icons, where they would like always do something on the map, right? Like, let's say Team A is taking the Rift Herald here, then Team B is gonna take a turret here, or Team B is gonna invade here. Here we can see it as well. Nigma Galaxy took the Rift Herald, but then FENNEL on the opposite side took a turret. You know, right? Like, they took a turret. They got something back for it. So, very good macro play. I would really say good macro play from both these teams. Like, I don't even know these teams, but they're playing so incredibly well. Like, this shows us how exciting the next season is gonna be. There's so many new teams that really know what they're doing. Like, clearly both these teams are playing well. Like, I can tell, right? Like, I can tell if a game is like super good, or if a game is average, or if a game is just bad. Like, if the teams are just bad. This is good. Like, this is really good. This is top-notch gameplay. Like, these teams right here are both playing so unbelievably well. Like, right here as well. Nigma Galaxy putting 3 people in the bot lane, securing the turret, making sure Chammy on the Kassadin stays safe, because he's the key to their victory. This is the champion that is the key to their victory. The assassin that's supposed to assassinate everyone. Like, if you look at Nigma's composition, they have the Varus to poke, right? Like, Varus pokes with his arrows. Then they have the Rakan to all in, Wukong to all in, to do damage and CC people. And then you have the Zed and the Kassadin to finish off. These are 2 assassins. So that is what the composition of Nigma Galaxy does. But then the composition of FENNEL, it's funny because the composition of FENNEL completely counters this out. Like, completely. Like, look right here. Calm gets Zed ulted, but he takes no damage. Like, look at this. This is what I mean. Like, sure, this is what the composition of Nigma is supposed to do, but the composition of FENNEL doesn't allow this because they have all the stone plates, they have the karma shielding, they're so tanky. How do you play this? Like, how do you play this? Regardless of how ahead you get as Nigma Galaxy, how do you play this? Like, I honestly don't understand how you're supposed to win this game. But then while I'm talking, yet again, on the opposite side of the map, Chammy taking a turret. These are the Chinese strategies. Like, we can clearly tell teams have evolved after icons, right? And especially after viewing how the Chinese teams play. I actually talked with a lot of EU players that I know and EU coaches, and they told me, right? Like, the Chinese teams from the WRL were next level. They always did something. Like, they kind of said when you're playing against them, it always feels like you're losing. Whatever you're doing, you're losing something. Like, you never feel like you win. Even if you get kills, it never feels like you're winning something. Because, like, the Chinese team will get farm on the opposite side, or turrets on the opposite side, or they will make you lose minions on the opposite side. And it's funny because now I'm seeing this back in other regions as well. Like, other regions have analyzed and they've learned it. Ooh, is the Rift Herald gonna charge? Is it gonna charge? He's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make it. FENNEL just stopped the Rift Herald. It's funny because Nigma thought they could just take a free mid lane turret, but there was 5 people from FENNEL, and Renekton even used his ultimate just to be able to stop that Rift Herald. Very, very well played by FENNEL right here, because they still have that all-important mid lane turret. The first mid lane turret is by far the most important turret in the game, because it gives you, like, it allows you to run behind your turret. And if you take the enemy mid lane turret, the enemy is never going to be safe in the middle of the map, because they can't run away to their mid lane turret. Oh, but Chammy on the Kassadin, he's building towards his Rabadon's death cap as well. That is, like, honestly, like, that's such a huge power spike. In a normal game, that would pretty much be game over in a game like this, because he has 11,000 gold, which is a lot of gold compared to the rest. But again, in this game, it doesn't really matter that much yet, up until he gets, like, a Void Staff. When he gets the Void Staff, That's when he's gonna start to deal a lot of damage to FENNEL's composition because they're so unbelievably tanky. But talking about that composition, they don't have any magic resist though. They only have armor. They don't have magic resist against the Kassadin yet. So it seems like wow, there's a lot of poke from the Karma. Then he just half-lives the composition of Nigma like it's nothing. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, he's going for full AP Karma. That's why. Like, because he's going for a full AP Karma. Right here, look at Aaron. While the dragon is being taken, he's trying to pressure the turret. He's trying to take the turret. There it is. This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see from Nigma Galaxy. Never mind. He's not doing it. What I wanted to say is, I want to see Aaron take the top lane turret. Just give away this dragon. It's a whatever. Take the top lane turret, push the inhibitor, take the mid lane turret. Like, Nigma could have done that. But let's see what they do instead. Let's see what they do instead. They really want to fight this, and they go all in. They don't take the dragon, but let's see what happens. Again, the composition of FENNEL is super tanky. They are able to get a kill, but it's like... This is what I mean, guys. This is what I mean, right? Like, I get why they're going for this dragon, but if you look at it from a different perspective, Nigma could have taken the top lane turret and the mid lane turret. And now FENNEL is really pushing their advantage. FENNEL knows they could do this. Whoa, there's a lot of Kassadin damage by the way. But FENNEL knew they could fight this, right? They forced this dragon. They forced the team fight. They got the dragon and they got the team fight. This is what FENNEL has to do, right? When you're up against the Kassadin and this composition, and when you have the better team fight and composition, you want a team fight. When you're on Nigma's side, you want to split push during those things. They could have gotten the top lane turret, they could have gotten the mid lane turret, but instead they tried to fight. But it was not the worst for them because Kassadin got a kill. And whenever you get a kill on Kassadin, you know, it's him getting to the late game. And that's what's super important about it, of course. So as we look into the replay of this team fight, it was a nice try, right? Like, Wukong could have stolen the dragon, but they're never gonna win this team fight like this. It's just impossible. The only one they killed is Karma, who is the only squishy character on the composition of FENNEL. But there you can see it, right? Like, after that initial engage, after the all-in, after all the ultimates got used by Nigma Galaxy, it doesn't really matter anymore because you can't win. But here you can see the power of Kassadin. He nearly one-shotted both of them. Like, he did kill Domang, but he barely missed the kill on Calm. But now he... Oh, interesting. So Chammy went for the Rabadon's Death Cap, and now he's going for the Crystalline Reflector. That is because, besides the Karma, FENNEL has a full AD composition. But like, I feel like he needs a Void Staff to deal damage, but he's gonna be tankier with the Crystalline's Reflector. So let's see what happens. Like right here again, Aaron could decide to split push. I would love to see him split push because he's playing Zed. Zed is very good at split pushing and Zed is very good at 1v1s. Even if you're against one of those bruisers, Zed should still kinda win the 1v1. It depends on who you're against because Renekton, for example, can't beat Zed. But like, he could be split pushing and applying a lot of pressure while his team is... trying to do something on the opposite side of the map. Like, Zed could honestly even go for a hole breaker this game and just split push. So let's see what he actually does. Oh, he does. He goes for the teleport boots. So he's actually also thinking about split pushing. So he's not going for the hole breaker, but because he went for the teleport boots, he wants to split push. It's funny because like he's thinking exactly like me probably now. Like, I need to split push, right? I need to split push, and then when my team needs me, I'm gonna teleport to them. That should be his objective. So it's good to see that he actually went for the teleport boots. And then also Chammy on the Kassadin, he doesn't finish off the Crystalline Reflector, he actually goes for the magic penetration. So it seems like he is actually gonna go for the Void Staff, which is very, very nice by him. Right here, this is a bit of a rough... Wow, you see that damage from Chammy? He nearly one-shots Karma. Good engage by the Rakan, but you're not gonna one-shot the bruisers. Right here, Chammy picks up the kill on Karma. That's what he has to do. And now, FENNEL is gonna die. So, this is a massive disadvantage for FENNEL. Why are they so squishy? Why are they dying so fast? Test your knowledge. Why was FENNEL's composition dying so fast there? Why did they lose a 4 versus 5 when earlier on they were winning the fights? Test your knowledge. Put it in the comments, pause the video right now, because I'm gonna tell you right now. The answer is simple, and the person editing this video made a perfect video explaining why. It's the Baron. If you want to know fully, look up Jinko Baron guide, because he fully explains to you why you shouldn't do Baron like that. Because what happened to FENNEL's composition is they were taking the Baron, and Baron slowly takes away your armor and magic resist. Every second. Boom, 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 boom. It reduces your armor, reduces your magic resist. And then, when you take a fight like that against Nigma Gaming, even though it's a 4 versus 5, you're still gonna lose. Because you lost the one thing that makes your composition strong, which is the tankiness. So FENNEL really took a long time trying to take this Baron, and then they took a fight against Nigma Galaxy Gaming. So Nigma Galaxy, that doesn't work. It doesn't work because you lose all of your magic resist, all of your, well, not all, but a lot. It's really a lot that you lose. Like, it's big. Again, the percentages are in Jinko's video. I really recommend you guys to look him up because it's crazy. You really need to understand how to play around the Baron, because if you do it like that, you just, even if you take the Baron, it doesn't matter because all of you are gonna die, and you can see it, right? This is how Nigma Galaxy wants to play. Put Zed on the split pushing duty. Zed was able to get the bot lane inhibitor, like, and now he goes top lane. Exactly, like, exactly. This is how they have to play. This is exactly how they have to play. It's really nice to see that they finally identified their win condition. Nigma Galaxy identified it, right? Chammy one-shots Karma, and then they fight. Then it's gonna be a 5 versus 4. But Aaron is gonna split push. That's what he has to do. Like, look, a fight is happening, and if he has to teleport, he teleports. But he doesn't have to teleport yet. Oh, now he could teleport if he wants to. There he goes. I'm reading his mind. I'm literally reading his mind. Like, it's crazy. Now he teleports because FENNEL could have all-in Nigma Galaxy. And in that case, Aaron on the Zed would have teleported and saved his team. And now the Elder Dragon is up. And this is a bit of a different objective from Baron because this one doesn't reduce anything. You can actually take it. Like, look, Nigma Galaxy is not losing any armor, is not losing any magic resistance now. Interesting. Chammy is just pushing while this is happening. There you go. He gets a turret. Very, very nice. Meanwhile, Nigma Galaxy is taking the Elder Dragon. So FENNEL has to decide, do we go for Kassadin or do we go for the Elder Dragon? But then Nigma Galaxy just goes in for the fight regardless. Look at this. Karma is dying. We don't see it, but Karma is dying. Kassadin actually just goes in the backline and kills everyone. This guy's crazy. Like, we've reached the point of the game where Kassadin just absolutely steamrolls FENNEL's composition. Like, it doesn't even matter anymore that they're so tanky. Because I believe he has like 5 items now. So like, yeah, now he has 5 items. So at this point, how are you gonna deal with the Kassadin? And the answer is, you're not. Like, you pretty much lost the game. Unless you get like a lucky steal on the Elder Dragon. But even then, you're just gonna get one shot by the Kassadin. So let's see what happens. This should be an Elder Dragon going towards Nigma Galaxy because Domang is dead. Who's the Xin Zhao? I just want to see Chammy go ham. I just want to see Chammy go ham right now. So FENNEL has to be extremely careful now because that's a 19,000 gold Kassadin sitting on level 15, sitting on full item build. So yeah, that's a bit of a rough one to kill. Now FENNEL finally built some magic resist. We have the Spirit Visage on Domang and then the Spirit Visage on Arise. But is it gonna be enough? Probably not. Like, you're still gonna get killed by the Kassadin. Not one shot because you are still tanky, but it's just not enough. They're gonna take so much damage from the Kassadin. Like, I don't see a way for FENNEL to win this game anymore, to be honest. I just want to see what Chammy does. Chammy is constantly keeping his ultimate stacked up, by the way. His ultimate is sitting on 3 stacks. I mean, look at that damage. That's a Garen, by the way. That's a Garen. He just took 40% of his health just with 2 abilities from Kassadin. That's crazy. Let's see. Seems like Nigma wants to go for a fight here. They want to go in. I still think Nigma should stick to their guns, which is poke, then all in, and then finish off with assassins. So let's see how the fight happens. Right now, Nigma is doing the thing. Nigma is trying to take the Baron. Remember what I said, guys? Oh, it's a beautiful engage, though. Wow. Great, great engage. A good counter engage too, I would say, with the Redemption and, you know, with the Xin Zhao ultimate. But when you're up against an Elder Dragon, it's really rough. Like, look at this. Because of the Elder Dragon, everyone is dying so fast from FENNEL. And Kassadin is just cleaning up. Like, he's just cleaning. Look at this. He's cleaning up everything. And whenever you get under 15% health, you just die. So that is it for FENNEL. And this makes it a 1-1 between Nigma Galaxy and FENNEL. Just honestly a very beautiful game from both sides. Seeing how both teams are trying to play towards their win conditions, but then it working out just a bit better for Nigma Galaxy because Chammy on that Kassadin just played so unbelievably well. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.